Well, welcome back, everybody, and happy Monday evening. Thank you for being here, and thank you for checking out this edition of Pucks from the Pine Tree Pod. I'm your host, Benjamin Kennedy, here, middle of summer. Today is July 14th, so we are working our way through the non hockey summer season. How was the weekend, everybody? Anybody do anything fun out there? For me, I had my kiddo Thursday to Sunday, and doing a lot of yard work lately. The last few weekends, we've got this plant here in Maine. It's an invasive plant called bittersweet vine. If you don't know what it is, be thankful. This thing will take over your forest. It will wrap itself and choke trees out. It's awful. It is a demonic spawn from hell. And the only way I think you can kill it, unless I'm wrong, is you have to kind of take it out of its roots. And it's like, well, I'm not marching all the way down to hell to to take all these roots out. But anyway, the last few weekends, kiddo and I have been having a lot of campfires and um, taking care of a lot of that stuff, trying to get the yard cleaned up, looking better, but plenty more to do. And we do like a good campfire here. It's summertime, right? You got to enjoy that a little bit. And it was about a month ago. We had one of our first campfires of the season, and I had the marshmallows out and everything all ready for this guy to go, and thinking he'd be right into it. He's like, "No, I don't want marshmallows." I'm like, "Well, got some hot dogs. You want a hot dog?" "No, Daddy, hot dogs weren't meant for me." Great, perfect. They really weren't meant for anybody. The kid he goes back into the kitchen, and he comes out with like a ham steak. He wants to he wants to like put the ham steak on the stick and grill it. And I'm like, we're not doing that, man. He says, you don't want a marshmallow? Yeah, weird stuff. So we're now in the habit of I buy deli ham, like sliced deli ham, and that's what he likes to roast over the campfire. Don't know. It's probably a little bit healthier than the marshmallows, so that's all good. And yeah, today as well, I am definitely dealing with some soreness. If I look like I'm hunching even more than normal, or been back in the gym, and yeah, going back to Friday, man, I overdid it. I am not 25 anymore, but doing a chest tricep workout, and man, the weights were feeling light. Everything was feeling good. I was just like throwing the stuff around, just feeling awesome. And man, I wake up Sunday morning and I could barely move. I was so, just again the tries and the chest, just everything, like no ability to move without any kind of pain. And so, one of our things on Sundays, we go to church Sunday mornings, and my kiddo still likes me to hold him at the beginning of the service during the music. So we kind of up on my shoulder usually. And this was a Sunday where I was like, man, kid, I'm sorry, I can't hold you, man. I'm too beat up. But it's like, man, my body used to recover a lot more quickly, and I'm now 46, so oof, man, things just don't rebound like they used to. Before we get into all the hockey stuff for today, which we are going to table a lot, that I was going to talk about today, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But it is summertime again, no hockey on the TV. So if you're looking for some good summer reading, I picked up a book by Brunswick, Maine's Dale Arnold, of course, Neston's Dale Arnold, called Tough Guys. So if you haven't checked this book out, it is quite good, quite a good read. I'm only 3 or 4 chapters in so far, but of course he does a great job interviewing some of the old school tough guys from around the NHL, from the history of the NHL, and just 3 or 4 chapters in, there's a lot of Maine Mariner references, a lot of Portland references. Of course, Dale was worked for the Mariners there, for going way back in the AHL days. So good read. Would definitely check it out if you're looking for some good summer reading. All right. Well, let's get into it, guys. Of course, the news we've been waiting for about a week becomes official today. Coach Terrence Wallin officially off to Lehigh Valley of the AHL. So again, congrats to Coach. I would say very, very well deserved for him. Put out a quick little video this morning as I was working when the news broke. So I'm happy for him. I'm excited for him. It's a nice move up. Yeah, and as I asked for this morning, I want to ask everybody if you have any good Coach Wallen memories, or memories from when he was a player. I'd love to hear those. Share those in comments. Send me an email. I'd love to hear those, because he was here, I think, for 7 years total as a player and as a coach. So spent a lot of time here. Of course, he's from Pennsylvania, so this move does make a lot of sense. Not only is he getting a promotion, um, going back to his home state. put out a nice thank you message today. If you haven't checked that out, it's all over his social media stuff. So I'd say go check that out. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm really curious from you guys. How is he going to be remembered? How are you, as a fan, if you're a Maine Mariners fan, how are you going to remember him here in Portland? Some of my thoughts, because I know, I guess I'll start here. I know that a lot of fans, at least the fans I have talked to and interacted with, their opinions are very kind of one-sided when it comes to coach. Um, a lot of people were not fans of him for whatever reason. Uh, don't know why. Well, I have some. I guess I have some reasons why I may know. But what you heard a lot of from fans, what I've heard a lot of from some of you guys, is not a very boisterous or fiery or emotional coach. That some of you guys want to see more emotion, maybe more of a John Tortorella type behind the bench. Okay, I get it. I get it. He's a very calm, cool, collected guy. I just don't think that was his style. I just don't think he was that kind of coach to just be overly emotional. The Bobby Knight type. I don't think anybody wants Bobby Knight types anymore. But yeah, I think that's a criticism that a lot of people have shared. I kind of disagree with that. And hey, listen, first of all, there's plenty of room for disagreement on this channel. I don't expect everybody to agree with my takes and vice versa. Totally fine with that. I'd like my head coach to be a little more calm and cool and collected behind the bench. I just think over the long haul, that plays better. And regardless of where you're at on that, if you like a more fiery coach or you want a more reserved, more quiet coach, I just don't think it was his style. So yeah, I don't really think you could ask him to do something or be someone he was never meant to be. You want him to be authentic, and I think that's what he was. I think another criticism I've heard from a few other fans is that he tended to build his teams around kind of the image of what he was as a player, which was more of a grinder, more of a third, fourth line type of player. And yeah, I think you probably did see some elements of that style over the last few years as he's been a head coach. But I also am not going to sit here and say that it's not like he wanted, top end offensive talent. Of course he did. Every coach wants that, right? I think it's more just stylistically, maybe they played that way. And oftentimes a team is going to mirror their coach and what they're all about. But I would also, give a little bit here for coach is that you have had some really good offensive players here. Kyle was here for a while. Cal McCock was here. We all know what happened to the roster last year with guys like Jimmy Lambert. Scores a hat trick, and all of a sudden he's flying off to Europe, and away he goes. Right. Peterson was never really healthy throughout the year. It was kind of tough in that regard. You can listen. You can have your criticisms of him. I know he never won a playoff series here, but I think he probably did a better job than he's going to be remembered for, and I think he did better than most fans might remember him for. I think he's probably one of the hardest working coaches, in the ECHL. Of course, having the role of GM on top of that, that's not easy. I mean, you have so little control as a general manager. You've got pressures from your AHL club. You've got players that you sign that suddenly go off to Europe or get promoted up to Providence or go to another AHL club because they're getting signed to that AHL contract. Everybody deals with injuries. That's not really an excuse. Everybody deals with that. But I think that we should remember him as a hardworking guy who was authentic, was who he was, and didn't try to be something he wasn't, and has a winning record. In his 3 years as a head coach. Yes, I know, I get it. No playoff wins, no playoff successes, but over a 500 winning percentage. I think it was 100. And I don't have it in front of me. 103, 104 wins over 3 years. So not bad. And like I said this morning, you don't get promoted in the world of hockey if you haven't done some things right, if you haven't done the job well. And I think for him, people that people in the AHL, people in the NHL that know what he brings to the table as far as player development. And listen, under him, there's been some guys that have been able to move up the ladder, move up to the American League and have success. So I'm curious your thoughts, right? Like I say, plenty of room here for disagreement. I fully expect plenty of fans will have a whole different take than I do on it, but those are just some of my thoughts. I am going to table more of this discussion for now because I'm excited to announce that on Thursday we will have owner of the Maine Mariners, Dexter Paine, back on the show. So absolutely excited for this. Of course, we're going to get into Coach Wallin. We're going to talk about what the hiring process is going to look like. What kind of shape is that going to take? We're going to talk about the CBA and what progress the league and the players are at right now. Where are they at in that process? We're going to talk about Boston and Providence, some of the moves that have been made and how that might affect the Maine Mariners roster this year. We're going to talk about Portland Pirates and the theme night, amongst various other topics. So, should be a heck of a good time. Uh, if you do have other questions or other things you'd like me to bring up to Dexter, please leave them in the comments on this video. Do my best to get as many of your questions in and answered by Dexter. He's always very candid, very open to discuss just about anything. So, looking forward to that. Of course, the Mariners are not the only team in the North Division looking for a coach. It was just announced that in Worcester, head coach Derek Army, is off to the AHL as well to the Colorado Eagles, Colorado Avalanche affiliate. He was there from 2020 to 2025, a 153, 137, 19 record, I believe 3 Kelly Cup appearances. So, of course, Derek has some main ties here, his dad. So good luck to Derek as he moves on to the American League. And of course, now the Railers will be looking for a coach and a GM as well. So be curious to see what happens there. And in other Maine Mariner news, of course, it was announced last week, defenseman Justin Bean re-signing with the team. This is great news for the Mariners. Of course, he played in all 72 games last year, had a career year for himself, 7 goals, 28 assists for 35 points, really became one of the leaders on the team and became just such a major mainstay for the club, especially with all the defensive changes that happened with guys like Berger moving on. Bavaro went up. Was it Millman also went up? I mean, we lost a lot of D-men, and Bean was kind of the steady Eddie back there for most of the season. So great to see him back. That makes 3 players now under contract with Vidmar and Devoe already done. Of course, we do have the other guys on qualifying offers. I'm sure more will come as we move forward. All right, moving on now to the NHL. We have had some transactions since I've last been on with you. A few signings here coming out of Winnipeg. Forward Morgan Barron re-signing. He was an RFA. He was set to go to arbitration, but they get him done on a 2-year, 1.85 million per season contract. Last season, he played in 74 games, 8 goals, 7 assists for 15 points. And the new draft pick of the New York Islanders, left winger Victor Eklund, signs with the club. He was number 16 pick overall this year. He signs a 3-year deal, 975,000 for him. So he will report right up. Be curious to see if he makes the team with the Islanders. I imagine he may end up in Bridgeport, but we'll see how that goes. Jeff Skinner continuing to get work, gets a 1-year deal, $3 million with the San Jose Sharks. Coming over from Edmonton, he played in 72 games. Still can put the puck in the net. He's still a scorer here. 16 goals, 13 assists for 29 points for himself. And defenseman Josh Manson re-ups with the Colorado Avalanche, a 2-year deal, 3.95 million per. A little beat up last year, 48 games, had 1 goal, 14 assists for 15 points. Couple of trades to talk about going back last week. Matt Dumba getting traded to Pittsburgh. Of course, defenseman, played in 63 games, had 10 points for Dallas last year. He has 1 year left on his contract at $3.75 million. So it's Dumba and a 2028 second-round draft pick to Pittsburgh for Vladislav. Oh, this is a tricky one. Kolyachonok. Wow. Kolyachonok. I'm going to put it in the comments because I don't know how to pronounce that one, guys. I am sorry. Clearly not very professional here tonight. 24-year-old defenseman, played in 35 games, had 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points on a minimum contract, 775 for 1 more season. So yeah, a little bit of a salary dump for Dallas. Of course, they give up the second rounder and get the young defenseman back. So good little bit of business there for Dallas, clearing up some cap space for themselves. And Ryan Reeves, left winger from Toronto, getting moved to the San Jose Sharks. Of course, Reeves, healthy scratch a lot last year up there in Toronto. He got into 35 games, only the two assists. Coming back to Toronto is 24-year-old defenseman Henry Thrun. $1 million left on his contract just for 1 year. He played in 58 games, 2 goals, 10 assists for 12 points. Kind of an emerging defenseman. I think a tough one. I heard their GM talk about this. He was kind of a tough one to give up, but they felt like they needed some toughness and some grit on their team. And Reeves, if nothing else, provides a little bit of that toughness and that grease that you need. And this clears up just a little bit of money for the Maple Leafs. It's clear that Reeves was not part of the plan moving forward, and so he is out of the division and out west. And a trade coming down yesterday. Pittsburgh maybe getting their goalie of the today and the goalie of the future, Arturs Silovs, heading over to the Penguins. Of course, he was a Calder Cup MVP this year, Calder Cup winning goaltender there for the Abbotsford Canucks. Did get into 10 games for Vancouver, but he goes to Pittsburgh, and Vancouver getting 22-year-old right winger Chase Stillman. Stillman, a former 2021 first round draft pick of the New Jersey Devils. Between 65 games he had in Scranton Wilkes-Barre and Utica, 4 goals, 8 assists for 12 points combined. So for Silovs, he's got 1 year left at 850,000. He will be an RFA next season. For Stillman, he's got 1 year left at 863 and change on his contract. So, Vancouver getting a young 22-year-old that, maybe hasn't really developed as quickly as some would like. Now, I think this is his third organization. I may be wrong, and I think it's his third organization. And Silovs just, he was kind of the odd man out there for the Canucks. You have Demko, you have Likinen re-signed there, who played so well for the team last year. So they're betting on Thatcher Demko being healthy, and you hope he can be, because when Demko's healthy, he is so fun to watch. He's so good. He's so electric, and the team plays so much differently. They're allowed to play so much differently in front of him, and it just is such a different look when he's not out there. He's really struggled the last 2 years to stay healthy, and Silovs was kind of thought maybe to be the heir apparent, but at his age, at 24, I think he's 24 years old. He's ready. He's ready. You're not going to keep him in the American League. He's not going to clear waivers. That's for sure. And so at least you get something for him. This might be one that Vancouver ends up regretting. But I mean, listen, if Demko can be healthy for the next 2, 3 years, I don't think you really think back. And for Pittsburgh, listen, they've really struggled in net. Jari, it's really going to come down to Silovs and Jari, I think, for that job. And they'll probably both, maybe they'll be a tandem. I'm not sure. But Jari has had his ups and downs. He was in the American League for a while last year, too. I don't think Pittsburgh is any place close to a Stanley Cup. I don't understand quite what they're doing there. And we could have a whole Sidney Crosby conversation. I'm not really prepared for that, but I know Sid wants to be loyal to his organization. He wants to be a one sweater guy for his career. I completely understand all that. I get it. NHL guys are so loyal, but my God, man, your team's not close. I mean, the next meaningful game he's going to play will be in the Olympics. And good for him. Good, he'll have that opportunity, right, to play for his country, to play for Canada. But I would love to see him get traded. I just think it would be so interesting for the league to see him. There's, of course, I'll get all the chatter about Colorado go out and play with his buddy Nate McKinnon. I'd love to see it. Would just love to see it. And for Pittsburgh, I mean, listen, yes, us fans in Boston, we understand it. We just lost Brad for a first round draft pick, and we're gonna have to see him play for Florida for the next couple of years. It will suck if he does move on. It will be hard. It will be just god awful. But man, if you're the Penguins, you need assets. You need assets, man, because as great as Crosby still is, and as great team guy, and he's your captain, and I totally get it. At this point, you got to start to restock the shelves a little bit. But any Pittsburgh fans out there listening, would love to hear from you. What's your take on that? Do you want to see Sid be, a Pen forever, or would you like to see the team move off of him? But anyway, all that to say, Silovs, I think a really good get for the club. I think it's one of maybe the better moves that their GM has made since being over there. And we'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. So outside that, fairly quiet. We are still waiting for news from the ECHL on their CBA agreement. Something I'm going to ask Dexter about on Thursday. But yeah, kind of quiet. We are waiting for some other trades, perhaps. I know that Bo Byram is one that's been talked about. I know McCann up in Seattle was thought to maybe be on the market. We just talked about Pittsburgh. They've got some other guys there that could move on in trades. I do think you'll see some trades over the next couple of weeks start to trickle in. And there's still a few guys out there that haven't signed that, again, I think I mentioned in my last video, like Jack Roslovic, it being one that I'm a little bit surprised he hasn't caught on to another team yet. So we will have some trickle down news as the summer continues, but it's probably going to be a little quiet. And here on the channel, might be a little quiet over the next 2 and 3 weeks. A couple updates for you guys. If you didn't see, I did start a new Facebook page just for this channel instead of using my personal Facebook page to post links and videos. And, because, my most of my family and friends are not hockey fans, they don't want to see it. But I did start a new Pucks from the Pine Tree Facebook page. So if you are not following that channel or that page yet, please do. I will always share links to this video and other updates and things there, along with my X and my Instagram account too. But that was just one little change there. And I have been posting to other team pages and fan pages that I absolutely appreciate. It's been great to do that. I will probably start to slowly wean off of that and just post on my page just to simplify it and not to crowd up other people's pages with my stuff, right? Just try to be a little more respectful with that. As we already said, Dexter Paine, of course, on this Thursday, the 17th. So that video will most likely go out Thursday evening. So watch for that to hit. And as we get into August, I will be doing NHL team previews again, much like I did a year ago. Last season, I did one video per team, and it was chaos. it was a lot of work. It was a lot of fun, a lot of research. Loved it, but it was kind of just a race to the end. I mean, I think I was doing my last couple of videos. I think those games in Europe or Australia, wherever they were, had already been played. So this year, I'm going to take a little different approach. I'm going to do 8 different videos, 4 teams per video. Still going to do a solid 8 to 10 minutes probably per team, but that's how I'm going to handle it this year. I'll take one team from each division. The math works out great. You got 8 divisions or eight teams per division, 4 divisions. So the math works great there. So 8 videos, 4 teams per, and then I will do a kind of a predictions video after that as we get closer into September. Of course, as I said, the next couple weeks could be a little bit slow, but as news pops up for the NHL, the Maine Mariners, we will certainly be here to talk about it. And I am continuing to work on a guest list. I'm very thankful for the guests we've had come on so far. I love those videos. I love talking to having other people on. It's just a lot of fun. But I have 2 or 3 names that I'm working on right now, hoping to get on for this summer before hockey comes back. I think a couple names that you guys would be very, very interested in hearing from. No promises, but we'll keep you updated as I get that list out and going and confirmed. And if there are any guests that you guys would love to hear from or would love for me to reach out to, please leave those comments down below. I'm always happy to at least try, right? I mean, some of these I might be shooting over my skis a little bit, but I'm always happy to try and reach out and just put it out there and see who we can get on. But feel free to let me know who you'd like to hear from. So, guys, that's what we have for you this evening. Hope everybody has a great week. I am off to northern New Hampshire tomorrow for the next couple of days of work, so I will be away. But as always, thank you so much for watching and listening. I absolutely appreciate it. If you do like what you're hearing here, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and hit that little notification button as well. And until next time, everybody, be kind, show love, and God bless.